Hello and welcome back to our weekly COVID-19 update here for Davie County. We have our Emergency Operations Center team with us today to give you a weekly update once again. We hope you find these valuable, and we'll give you information at the end of the presentation today to let you know how to get feedback to us or questions you have or themes that we collect every week to decide how to best respond to those every week as we come before you here. We have our usual slate of folks ready to present today, and again, on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners, I'm John Eller, Davie County Manager, and on behalf of Robin West, Assistant County Manager, we again will continue to do these weekly updates until we feel like everyone has all the information that they need. So each person will present today, like we always do every week, with a quick update on what's happening in the world of COVID-19, so everyone has the most recent information available to them. So we will start out today by listening to Mr. Jeff Wallace, our superintendent of our Davie County school system. So Mr. Wallace, we'll turn it over to you.
All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Eller and staff and audience. Thank you very much. Start out today with a congratulations to Davie County High School graduates, their staff, and their parents. What a year. My goodness, you often think about, we stop and talk about looking backwards, and when we started last August, would we have ever imagined that their senior year or any of our school year would have gone as it did? But congratulations to that group. I was extremely pleased and kind of capped off a very, again, difficult time, but a great ceremony, great speakers. Just congratulations to them and their parents. It's just very nice, dignified ceremony, and we're appreciative of that. I've mentioned many times about our school nutrition staff serving meals. We concluded the initial plan that since March the 17th through June the 15th, our school nutrition staff served just a little bit less than 360,000 meals to to children and their families. And I want to say a huge congratulations to that staff. George Selecki, our director, what a job, great work. And our summer feeding program will kick back off here in the next few days, where we will be reaching out to 30 different drop points, and 3 different schools will be hubs for drive-throughs. So good job. Our school nutrition couldn't have done it without you. Also, I'd like to bring everyone's attention to let them know that we have put up a new we have a COVID-19 page on our website, but there's a new page called Planning for Next Year. And that's where we are continuing to keep the accurate and updated information out for the general public to see. Obviously, we're still working through the plans released last week. One plan for reopening or pertaining to reopening schools came from the governor, and then the plans from DHHS and Department of Public Instruction. Our staff is working daily through those plans. 3 different options. Plan A, where everyone returns on August 17th. Plan B would be you would operate at 50% capacity of your buildings, or Plan C, which means everyone would be in remote learning. So we are really concerned about particularly option B and C, but we will, of course, our health and safety is most important, but we'll continue to follow those guidelines. And we expect Governor Cooper to give us an announcement or more instruction about which plan schools will open under. He should release that information in July the 1st. So we'll just stay tuned to that. And again, if there are ever any questions, please reach out to us here at school. Our website has a ton of information, and we're just very thankful for this team that we have here listening in today. And we'll keep working through and meeting the needs of our children and families. Thank you, Mr. Eller.
We very much appreciate you, Mr. Wayne, and your team do for us. So thanks again for your update this week, and to all of our graduates. What an interesting year, and to all the parents and those who've helped plan all these celebrations for those students in a very different way. So thank you, sir. Okay, we'll now move into our Health and Human Services update from our director, Ms. Suzanne Wright. Suzanne?
Thank you, Mr. COVID-19 cases as of today and that's 24 more than last week at this time. 79 of those cases remain sick, and two of the individuals are currently hospitalized. Yesterday, we reported an outbreak in a long-term care facility in Mocksville. And as a reminder, an outbreak in a long-term care setting is 2 or more cases. And if you'll remember, we also addressed the case numbers needed for an outbreak in occupational and educational settings, and those are 5 or more. So it's a little more strict for long-term care facilities. So 2 or more cases, and public health staff has gone and tested every resident and staff member of this facility this week. North Carolina DHHS will report the county name, facility name, and number of cases by staff or resident on its website this week, excuse me, at ncdhhs.gov. And North Carolina has developed a COVID-19 community team outreach tool. It's a contact tracing tool, and it's going to help streamline contact tracing work across the state. Davie County will be transitioning to this new state tool to conduct contact tracing in the coming weeks. And just last week, we received notification that the Division of Public Health, Davie County Division of Public Health, will receive $185,000 over a 2.5-year period to increase contact tracing and to implement this new tool. So I just wanted to share that news as well. And that's all I have today.
Ms. Wright, we appreciate how hard you and your staff continue to work during this time. I know it's very challenging for us all. So with that, now we'll turn it over to our Sheriff, Mr. J.D. Hartman, to give his weekly update. Sheriff?
Good afternoon, everyone. Our true updates related to coronavirus. We're still working through the court system. We had a meeting yesterday with the judge and the district attorney in reference to beginning to start jury trials. And so that process is beginning to take fruition and be put into place. And that's all I have for the day.
We appreciate, Sheriff, all that you and your deputies do for us. So thank you again for that. We'll now turn over our time to Emergency Services Director, Mr. Brian Bird. Mr. Bird, what's going on in the world of emergency services?
Hello, Mr. Being here today. Davie Emergency Services, we continue to have our normal volume of calls for service. We're thankful we don't have some of the problems that other counties in our central branch are having. Mecklenburg, Wake, Durham, Johnson, Alamance, Guilford, Forsyth, Lee, and Duplin counties are being designated right now as hot spots because of the amount of cases they're starting to see. For the urban counties, they're attributing that to dense populations and their citizens being more active. For the more rural counties, they're stating a combination of some of them have prisons. They got moderate communities there, and they also have increased visitation, I guess you'll call it, by their communities and their citizens. As a response to those hot zones, the state's pushing out pushbacks of PPE to those guys, similar to the shipments that we got here several weeks ago. They're now getting a second shipment. One thing that also came up on our call yesterday is a plan for the state to send supplies to support the school nurses in anticipation of school openings at the end of the summer. As of this week, $25 million worth of PPE has been sent by FEMA to provide supplies for North Carolina. And, I guess we'll just continue to adapt and to the changes there and see what the governor implements. We'll support our community and hope for a phased reopening. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Bird. We appreciate all you and your folks are doing to help us prepare and continue things as well. Both you and Suzanne have, on the health side, have really been helpful to all of us for consultation, and we very much appreciate that. We'll turn it over now to our 911 communications update from Mr. Rodney Pierce. Rodney?
Been no changes in our 911 center. We still ask citizens to dial 211 for any questions regarding state rollout and phases and plans of reopening. Also, we want to make sure that our questioning is still being applied to 911 calls for citizens when they call in for responder safety. There's been really no significant increase. We're maintaining our summer call volume at present. And that's about the best report we can get from the 911 center now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pierce, for that update. We appreciate y'all again, as always. And we'll go now to our Public Utilities Department. We have Mr. Johnny Lambert on the phone to give us an update on all things utility related. Mr. Lambert, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Eller. We're still working under the governor, so that means that no water sewer disconnections will be done. Right now, that governor's order extends out to July 29th. That also includes suspending all late penalties from the dates of March 1st until July 29th. And we're still asking customers that if they have not paid their prior bills or they're having problem paying their bills, to please contact 336-753-6090 and talk to staff about setting up some payment plans. Also, we're been passed down information from the CDC about businesses reopening, and water has been sitting in those lines and no movement in them. And you can find all that information on the Davie County website or the CDC website about flushing all the older water out of your system and getting fresh, clean water in there. And that's all we have from the utilities this week. Thank you, Mr. Eller.
Thank you, Mr. Lambert. We appreciate that update. And as always, as we stated when we started here today, this is the link that you can get questions or comments to us. We want to know how to make this more valuable for you and how to get information to you. I know there's a lot of information out there. It's even hard for some of us to track sometime, but we have a great team assembled here and committed to coming together and doing this every week. So thank you to all those who spoke today. And with that, we'll conclude this weekly session of our COVID-19 update, and we'll see you again next week. Thank you to all of you who are serving our community out there and who are willing to make a difference and help others. We appreciate you very much. So take care and God bless everybody.